Ladies and gentlemen, it's time once again. XRRL is returning, finally, to live broadcasting. In 20 seconds, we'll be underway for a preseason race for XRRL with 14 drivers going at in a 50% race at Austria. It's lights out and away we go here. And we have two Alpines at the front. But right off the bat, we can see Mr. Anderson and the Aston Martin trying to move up a bit. But Ultimate pulling out a massive gap on everyone else as Ryan Hurricane has gotten turned around completely. And the AlphaTauri at the back of the field. No yellow though, we stay green. As Calzone has dragged the Ferrari up into third place already. What's really going to be interesting to watch though will be this battle, as Ledger goes to the inside of Lowe. Ledger is currently the highest driver on track, who is running with the medium tire compounds, while everyone in front of them has the soft tire compounds equipped. Spreading out everywhere except for this battle here, as Torpedo is pulling up alongside BCM, but will back out in the second to last quarter. Setting up for a run. The following laps. DRS not enabled yet, but Torpedo doesn't care. He's going for it now. And he's got the move. And Smoothie 25 has pulled over completely, has fallen almost to the back of the grid. What in the world? Ryan Hurricane's not supposed to be up in front. That was very weird, game. Very weird indeed. These people aren't a lap down. Well, Smoothie 25 has snuck back in front of level 6 Beastian here. Ledger will earn the first time penalty of the day. 3-second time penalty for track violations. So right on board with Young Maneuver in the back of what will eventually become a DRS train. Stone Shuffle second, the quarter, Zola third. Low there in sixth. See Young Maneuver, Stone Shuffle going at further back, and he's got it. And now Young Maneuver will utilize the DRS to try and close in on Zola ahead. But Zola is trying to use DRS to get closer to Low farther up. Now they're out of the DRS zones. 3 DRS zones in a row on the circuit. Oh, and that's Ledger. Ledger, who has slid off the circuit and into the dirt. He had been making some good progress with the medium tire compounds, but it looks like he overestimated the amount of grip they had and went a little bit wide on the entrance to Sector 3. And has now fallen down to the 9th position. Torpedo will be the next driver to try and make a run on him. Stone Shuffle follows behind Young Maneuver. Young Maneuver is following behind Zola, who is following behind Lowe. Lowe does not have DRS yet, Zola does, so Zola may have a chance at getting this position at the end of this third straightaway here. DRS pops open on the back of that Austin Martin. Closing in, but it doesn't look like the Austin is set up for straight line speed quite as well, or at least not well enough to capitalize with the DRS. He will hang out behind Lowe for the moment. now gets a time penalty for track violations. That will work in Zola's favor as this race goes on. It's further back. Smoothie 25 is putting pressure on XRRL Raptor in the Mercedes. Raptor had a rough year in the Mercedes last season, but he's anticipating better results this year. Smoothie 25 is right behind him. He thought of making a dive in and turn one, thought better of it because he'll have the DRS in the very next straightaway. As you can see, two Williams up ahead, Ledger and Stone Shuffle going neck and neck. Ooh, Raptor bangs right into the rear into Smoothie 25. Thankfully, no damage. They will continue. I don't think Raptor is going to get a good shot at overtaking Smoothie on this lap. The DRS doesn't really come into play as much on the third straight as much as it does on the end of the first and second ones. A little bit farther up, CVT Max has gotten by Calzoner. These are the two men to watch, CVT Max and Calzoner. They are being judged as to either results today as to what category these drivers belong in. X1, X2, X3, or maybe this dev only. Right now, both of them are putting down a respectable time, with Calzoner stalking CVT Max. B-Stand now has a 3-second time penalty against him. It's Calzoner using the DRS to try and close in on Max and keep low behind. Ryan Hurricane has finally gotten by Raptor there for the 12th position. Zola is still right there behind Lowe, but he actually slides a little bit wide there in the third turn, the third real turn. For whatever reason, they think that the slight bend on the front straightaway is a turn, but the third real turn on this racetrack. Yeah, maneuver continues to hang out. Mr. Anderson has fallen to about 3 seconds almost out from Ultimate. And he has another 3 seconds ahead of CVT Max, who continues to have pressure being put on him by Calzoner. This could be Calzoner's best chance to make the move. He looks to the inside. He's got his wing ahead. He's got his nose ahead. But now, the Alpine will have DRS to counter on this next straightaway. But Calzoner had a good enough exit out of turn 3. The official turn 3. That CVT Max can't come back, and now he'll have to deal with Lowe behind him. As Zola continues to put pressure on the Red Bull of Lowe. Lowe's teammate BCN is currently 2.7 seconds out from Raptor at 13th position. Now CVT Max is going to try and take another shot at it. Gets really close to the rear wing of Calzoner, but Calzoner had a much better run getting onto the straightaway and will use the better traction to make something happen. Lowe is on the inside. CVT Max side by side going into turn 3. The Red Bull has the inside lane, and he got it. It was a little bit aggressive, but he got it. And now here comes Young Maneuver and Zola. Zola's gonna get by CVT Max. What about Young Maneuver? Oh, look at that dive! That CVT Max makes a huge dive on Zola and pushes Zola a little bit wide, but will muscle his way by force back into the 5th position now. Oh! And that's Lowe! And Lowe has spun out of the top 5. Will plummet downwards through the order. This will leave CVT Max open to a possible threat from Zola. Maneuver is there, wants to capitalize on Zola as well. He's right behind Austin Martin. He looks to the inside, thinks better of it. You don't want to go side by side there in turn 1. Zola Zola now setting up for a move on CVT Max. He's going to go around on the outside. He's already completely by him. Now CVT Max is going to dive back to the inside. Contact, very aggressive physical contact at that. And CVT Max, who has the position and the DRS. He's got the inside line. Zola trying to come in. CVT Max moving all over the place right before braking. Young Maneuver has to be very careful to decide where he wants to make a move on these two. Someone's gone off, and that's Ledger. Ledger is completely spun around as he is now going to go a lap down at this rate. Zola right there, still behind CVT Max. You can see the smoke stirring up, and Max will go into the pits. Zola got held up by that for a bit, and now Young Maneuver has a shot to go after Zola. As Ledger has just been kicked from the session for apparently parking at a dangerous location. We're going to hear what Ledger had to say about that. Could not make the overtake stick on Zola going down the straightaway. Moving in through the corners here. And it looks like Yun's not quite able to keep up with Zola for the moment. But the advantage for Young Maneuver is that he will still have DRS against Zola. And the other thing is that Calzoner has now opened up a roughly 1.5 second gap over Zola as Mr. Anderson is coming into the pits now. So everyone outside of the top 10 has now made their stop, and Mr. Anderson is making his stop as we speak. Mr. Anderson, the first of the Aston Martins to make their pit stop for the day. Stone Shuffle now finds himself up into the 5th position. Also, I was wrong. It was not CVT Mask who was trying to get judged on pace. It was Stone Shuffle and Calzoner. And Young Maneuver has gotten by Zola, but had to give the position back after running wide there on the end of that second straightaway. Now Zola closing back in on Calzoner once more. We're at the point in the race where the soft tires are falling off. And unluckily for Calzoner, it's soft tires that he is equipped with, while Zola still has plenty of grip on the medium compounds. Farther back in the grid, Mr. Anderson closing in on Smoothie 25 once more. Sector 3 isn't a great place to make an overtake happen, but if you can make it happen and make it stick, you then have to fight 3 straightaways in a row on defense. Basically, because of the way DRS works out, you're basically incentivized to not make overtakes after you enter Sector 3. Here comes Mr. Anderson to the inside of Smoothie 25. Neck and neck as they go into Turn 1. He made it stick. Both of the drivers made it stick without issue. As Young Maneuver continues to put pressure on Zola, and even farther behind than that, Lowe is closed in on Raptor. Lowe made the swap onto the medium tires a lap earlier than just about everyone else on the racetrack. And this is an interesting battle to watch. Young Maneuver putting pressure on Zola, and both of them have closed in on Calzoner. Soft tires have gone away for the Ferrari as a full-on knuckle-fighting fight for second as Calzoner is now coming into the pits. Will equip the medium tires more than likely to the end. So now it's Young Maneuver and Zola at the front. Not at the front, Ultimate's really at the front, but to the inside goes the McLaren. He gets the nose briefly ahead, backs out of it so he can try and get the DRS on the next straightaway. They're still side by side for the moment. But the Aston Martin doesn't have DRS. The McLaren does. Young Maneuver to the inside once more. And he's ahead under braking. The Aston will try and make the crossover on corner exit. And then contact. And a humongous accident for Young Maneuver. Hard in And this will drag Zola up into second, 14 seconds ahead of Ryan Hurricane now. And Young Maneuver will have to consider coming into the pits as soon as possible to get that wing repair as CVT X Mask now gets by. And exactly what Maneuver will do, and that will give Calzoner back the 8th position. As now Ryan Hurricane will try and close in on XRL Zola. Two very influential guys within XRL. XRRL, the Realistic Racing League, is kind of their baby in a sense. Ryan Hurricane has DRS on Zola closing in, but I don't think he's going to be able to make a move. Oh, and Lowe has had an instant. Lowe has spun around coming out of turn 1 and will now hemorrhage positions in the process. All the way down to 12th. As Raptor and Beastian are fighting, and it looks like for now it's the Mercedes of Beastian is ahead, but now Raptor wants to try find a way back in front of the Red Bull. Stone Shuffle on 13 lap worn soft tires is pitting out of the 5th position. As Mr. Anderson is now moved ahead of Ryan Hurricane, as Ryan Hurricane has had an accident. And that will be a VSC. Not sure what's happened. It's ripped the entire front wing off that AlphaTauri. We are now under a virtual safety car. And for Ultimate, this will be perfect because he will be able to pit without issue. CVT X Mass has now been given a 5-second time penalty for ignoring the yellow flag, apparently. Oh, wow. Be careful there, please. Raptor. And Smoothie 25 is coming to the pits. Now, will Ultimate use this to go ahead and jump into the pits and take off the soft tires? Yes, he will. Into the pits they are. He is. The virtual safety car is still on, so Zola not able to really close at the moment. Ultimate has equipped the mediums. Virtual safety car is gone now. But that worked out wonderfully in Ultimate's favor. Because while Zola will take the lead for now, Zola is on the same set of tires he started the race on. Farther back, the two McLarens of Young Maneuver and Smoothie 25 are trying to hold off the Red Bull of XRL Low for the 9th and 10th positions. If it was a points-paying race, this would be the battle for points. Ryan Hurricane is now coming to the pits. Stone Shuffle, when he came into the pits, he decided to equip hard tire compounds. A very interesting strategy call. He won't have to worry about saving tires at all, but he will never have the level of grip that anyone around him will have. As we look to the battle at the front, Ultimate dives on Zola and will easily take the lead. Zola can't even begin to keep pace with their race leader. As Zola will come rushing into the pits now. Smoothie 25 still hanging out there by his teammate Young Maneuver, and XRLO trying to figure out what to do. He has the medium tire compounds. The advantage of that is that those tires won't fall off, and he will not have to worry as much about falling in the aerodynamic wake of the McLarens ahead. However, the longer he stays in the McLaren's wake, the less and less the advantage will be in his favor. So he needs to figure out something sooner rather than later to get by those two. A little bit farther back, between the two AlphaTauris, Torpedo has caught Ryan Hurricane. Ryan Hurricane is on hard tire compounds, while Torpedo is on mediums. So Torpedo will be faster around the circuit, but like Stone Shuffle ahead of him, Ryan Hurricane will not have to worry about tire fall off at all for this race. Let's see Torpedo closing in on Ryan. Ryan has a good drive out of the corner at the end of the second straightaway. Now on the third straightaway, he's able to pull up enough of the gap that the DRS really doesn't mean anything for a Torpedo. This is the most active battle on the circuit right now. But it should be worth noting that Young Maneuver is closing in on level 6 Beastian now, ahead of these two. Yo, Smoothie gets it, and Beastian is pulled into the pits, but that held up Smoothie just a bit. So now Smoothie will be under threat from his teammate Young Maneuver if Young Maneuver elects to actually go for a move. Nothing. Not yet. Maybe closer to the end of the straightaway. To the inside goes Young Maneuver. Low has DRS on both of them. They'll back out. He doesn't want to get in the way of these two fighting if he can capitalize. Young Maneuver is still there on Smoothie. Young looking to the inside, but thinks better of it. As farther back, Torpedo has beginning to lose touch with Ryan Hurricane for this lap. Two soft tire compound cars are, yes, good enough to keep Low behind without really having to worry about him. The active battles on the track are between 7th and 9th, and then 10th and 11th. Everyone else has spread out to 3 or more second gaps. So we are halfway through the event at this point in the race. Shockingly, no one elected to start on the hard tires and try and get to this point in the race on them before swapping onto mediums. I have to wonder if Stone Shuffle and Ryan Hurricane are betting. Oh, and a huge accident! And Smoothie 25 put the power down at turn 1, and the car went right around into the infield, hard into the inside wall. And now with no front wing, he's going to have a slow, agonizing run around the entire circuit. And will have to come to the pits to repair the wing as well. While Low is now free to pursue Young Maneuver, and Young Maneuver will no longer have DRS for a defense against the Red Bull. Oh, Young Maneuver. What happened to Low there? He's just gone completely off the circuit. Our cameras aren't even really able to get a good view of him, but that car, he put the power down, the thing gets veered right off track. So in a 3-car battle, it ends in a heartbeat as 2 of them just slide off circuit all at the same time. I'm curious to see, does Low have wing damage? I think he does, and he's going to have to come in to get it repaired. He will fall through the grid, as will Smoothie 25. Who had to pit as well. So now Young Maneuver, nobody fighting around him, and he can put all his focus on Stone Shuffle, who is 10 seconds ahead, but is on much, much slower tires. Ryan Hurricane, still there behind XRRL Torpedo. Looking to the inside, making a dive. The DRS already off. This is all driver ability at this point. Can he make it stick? The 2 AlphaTauris still side by side for the 8th and 9th positions. Torpedo has that inside lane. Ryan Hurricane fighting back, and he's trying to hold even but can't make it work. Well, he made it work there. Torpedo had to back out just a bit. Now Ryan Hurricane sails in front of him. As Zola comes into the pits now on medium tire compounds that he started this race on. So Zola trying to make it a single stop race. He will pit out for the 6th position, 5th position. We'll throw on softs for the remaining 15 laps of this run. Oh, and CVTX Mask has now had an incident. In Sector 3. Oh, right in front of the McLaren. That's no good. But he is back underway now. No damage on that Alpine, powered by Renault engines, so they will continue going for a bit. So now Max, though, will have to worry about Stone Shuffle in the Williams behind. Stone Shuffle on hard tire compounds will not have to worry about pitting for the rest of this race. CVTX Mask has more worn tires, and although I don't think Mask will have to pit again, his tires will be falling off and hurting him as this race goes on, especially with the penalty that will be incurred, not an extra time penalty, but the tire grip penalty incurred from that spin. As Torpedo and Hurricane continuing to fight for the 7th and 8th position. Now it's Torpedo who's putting the pressure on his teammate Ryan Hurricane as he dives to the inside. Under braking at the end of that second straightaway, he slots his AlphaTauri ahead of his teammates. Neither of them apparently have DRS, but Ryan Hurricane closes right in and sails by on the inside without issue. Bold move, but didn't really give either of them a serious advantage. Well, actually, I take it back. Torpedo got it back. Torpedo was able to stick it better through the following corners. He's actually opened up a small gap on Ryan Hurricane there. Will be at threat of going lap down shortly. BCN, Low, and Smoothie have all gone lap down due to accidents that they have been involved in. Calzone are in a very good position, roughly 2/3 of the way through this race. As we bring up the time penalties, everyone ahead and behind him has time penalties. He does not, so it's going to look very good for him. Same with Stone Shuffle, who is in 5th. Not to mention, Calzoner has fresher tires than the 2 cars ahead and the car behind. And then Stone Shuffle is back there in 5th with Stone. Oh, and CVTX Max is coming into the pits now. And that will let Stone Shuffle go ahead and slot by and move up into the 4th position. Mask coming into the pits, and they will equipped. They're serving a time penalty for 5 seconds now. Now they go ahead and slop on a new set of medium tires that will carry them over to the end of this race. They'll likely end up fighting with these two, Torpedo and Ryan Hurricane. He will have fresher tires, but they're going to be cold for a bit of time here. And I think he's going to end up right behind these guys, so it's going to turn to a 3-car battle. Oh, Torpedo right there behind Mask. He tried to fall up behind him to get a run, but that's going to give Ryan Hurricane a chance to make the overtake. They're both being held up by the Alpine just a little bit. Torpedo on the inside of Ryan Hurricane. I think Hurricane made the move perfectly. He's going to walk out of here in 7th. Oh, Torpedo's not letting him get by. They're still side by side out of turn 4. Through sector 2, they're still neck and neck. Torpedo was going to stay ahead of Ryan Hurricane. It was a bold move by Ryan, but it did not work out. And now they're going to have to deal with the aerodynamic wake of CVTX Mask ahead for some time. Owen Lowe has had an accident now. Coming out of the end of the second straightaway. He's underway. Doesn't look like there's any wind damage, though. But bad day for the Red Bulls here. This here continues to be the most interesting battle on the circuit between the two AlphaTauris as Ryan Hurricane shoots to the inside, easily overtakes his teammate Torpedo, but now Torpedo will have the advantage of the DRS on this following straight. Closing back in. I don't think he's close enough to make a dive bomb this time. Oh, and Mr. Anderson is making a pit stop. Very strange decision. Oh, and Stone Shuffle has spun out of 4th position. And now we'll lose that to Young Maneuver, but I think he's far enough ahead of CVTX Max that won't be an issue for him. Calzoner is now up in the 2nd spot. 10 laps to go. Can he make the medium tires hold on to the end of this race? Young Maneuver coming into the pits now. Putting on another set of soft tires, so the tires are not lasting nearly as long as was anticipated in the pre-race. Torpedo now is in the position where his tires are worn, while Ryan Hurricane still has all the grip in the world. So as this battle is going on, it's going more and more in Hurricane's favor. And Calzoner is pitting out of the second position, so he will remove the medium tire compounds. What will the Ferrari team equip? Mr. Anderson is in third. They recently equipped the set of softs. I imagine Calzone will equip the same, and yes, the Ferrari will put on another set of soft tires. As we continue to watch these two fight it out. Big thing for Calzone is that because of Stone Shuffle's spin, Calzone does not have to worry about being pressured by Matt Williams. Zola is closing in slowly on this battle between Hurricane and Torpedo, and Torpedo seems to be struggling now to keep up with his teammate. Lowe and Beastin are also in a fight of their own for the 12th and 13th positions. The two Red Bulls have found each other, but at the wrong end of the grid. Maneuver, and Mr. Anderson's just set the fastest lap in that Aston Martin, so good job on his part. Ultimate trying to open up enough of a gap so if he so chooses, he could go ahead, come in and make a quick pit stop and get the fastest lap of the race. So we're on board with XRRL Zola as he watches the two AlphaTauris ahead continuing the race. As Ryan Hurricane gets another time penalty. Now the Torpedo's favored just a bit. Torpedo's still hanging out there behind his teammate, but he's no longer directly fighting him now. He's just hanging out behind him, trying to drag the medium tires that he's on all the way to the end of this race. If Torpedo was to pit now, he would lose not only 7th to Zola, but also 8th to Young Maneuver. And he would run the risk of going a lap down as well, as Lowe has had an accident. And that's a full course safety car, as XRRL has had an accident on the circuit, and this blows the entire race wide open. Now, for Ultimate's benefit, though, he will be able to come in and put on a set of softs, but Mr. Anderson and Calzone will have softs already on as well. You can see that Red Bull completely off circuit. We're going to try and get Lowe in here and see if he'll say what happened to him on the track. Torpedo, Stone Shuffle, CVTX Max, Torpedo, and Zola, they've all come into the pits. Ultimate has not been able to come into the pits yet, but he will do it this time. But again, Mr. Anderson and Calzone will be right behind him on soft tires. So they're all going to be relatively even. Yeah, Mr. Anderson and Calzone will have slightly more worn tires, but it won't matter when there's going to be green with about 5 laps to go in this event. Also, this will be great for Raptor because he's already made his pit stop. He might be able to get back on the lead lap. It's going to be iffy. I don't think he'll be able to. But he will try. No, he will not get back on the lead lap, sadly. Well, I don't know. In the last game, you weren't allowed to overtake the leader under safety car, otherwise you'd get disqualified. We'll see for Raptor if maybe he'll be allowed to overtake the leader or not. But now everyone has soft tires equipped. Doesn't look like Raptor's going to even try and push it here. Letting off a bit to let the field catch up properly. But yeah, it doesn't seem like Raptor is going to try and get back on the lead lap here. So Mr. Anderson will be the third car in line. Calzone will be the fourth one. Because Raptor is going to be right in the middle. It looks like they're trying to figure out if Raptor is going to be allowed to go through or not. It's going to take about another lap for the field to fully gather up here. But yeah, it seems like the Mercedes will be staying out right behind the race leader. And here's the other thing, Beastian is right in between Mr. Anderson and Calzoner as well. And Smoothie is going to be between Calzoner and Stone Shuffle. So lap traffic is going to play absolute havoc here. Because everyone 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, they're all still half a lap back from the leaders. It's going to take him, not only will it take him a long time to catch up, but they're going to have to deal with lap traffic when they come to the green. Oh, okay. What? Well, Mr. Anderson has just had a penalty for a collision with Calzoner. I don't know why Mr. Anderson came to a dead stop on the circuit there, but he did. As now Smoothie 25 goes by Raptor. As Smoothie 25 has been disqualified for ignoring yellow flags. So that seems to be the result. Lapped cars are still not allowed to circle around the pace car. Which is an absolute travesty. It's not how it should be. Look at the time penalties. Calzoner has 5 seconds worth of penalty against him. Ultimate has 9. Mr. Anderson has 13. So Anderson is going to be a very, very bad start to this race for him. Restart for this race for him. So we're trying to navigate around Raptor right now. The field just about all gathered up at this point. So now Mr. Anderson will be right behind Ultimate. Ultimate has 9 seconds of penalty. Calzoner only has 5. So if Calzoner can avoid any further penalties and just get in the DRS of Ultimate, he may have a shot at winning this race. The big thing is going to be Stone Shuffle, though. And now Mr. Anderson has another time penalty for apparently ignoring yellow flags. But that's complete bullcrap because he's not even doing anything illegitimate on the circuit. So now it looks like Stone Shuffle might actually be the driver in the seat, in the catbird seat to win this race because he has no penalties whatsoever against him. Everyone ahead does. The field is finally all gathered up and we could go to the safety car this lap. Raptor is now 4th in line, so he's right ahead of Beastian, and then Beastian is just ahead of this man here, Stone Shuffle. So it's going to be a little bit hard for Stone Shuffle to honestly contend for the win, simply because of the 2 lapped cars ahead. Calzoner, Mr. Anderson, and Ultimate. And now Raptor has a penalty for a collision with Beastian, despite the fact that both of them are numerous laps down, and I didn't see anything even happen. This game is might be even worse than the last one when it comes to giving frivolous penalties. Coming to the green flag, 3 cars fighting for the win with maybe another one, depending on what Stone Shuffle can do. Ultimate has dominated this race as he shoots out of the second last corner in the Alpine. Mr. Anderson not able to keep up, neither is Calzoner, it would appear. Calzoner right there behind Mr. Anderson, willing to try and do something to him. Not able to make it work. A Stone Shuffle has dropped several positions now. It's just an absolute travesty. One spot loss after another. CVTX Max has gotten by him. Everyone has gained by him. Torpedo's gained by him. Ryan Hurricane has actually rebounded up into 4th position. It's Calzoner trying to chase Mr. Anderson. In this battle for second, if Calzoner can get by Mr. Anderson, he may have a chance to try and get within 4 seconds of Ultimate in the lead. Don't see that happening because Ultimate literally just set the fastest lap of the race. Stone Shuffle now gets a time penalty for track violations. So what was a relatively good race for Stone Shuffle now completely disintegrates under green flag conditions. Now he loses another spot to Yen Maneuver this time. The Torpedo is now putting pressure on CVTX Mask. The AlphaTauri against the Alpine. Torpedo backs out of a potential move for the moment. Calzone losing touch with Mr. Anderson. Both these drivers losing touch quickly to Ultimate, your race leader. DRS has been back enabled, so Calzone will have a chance to overtake Mr. Anderson here on the straights. The Ferrari is 4/10ths back, now closing rapidly on the straightaways. To the inside with a massive lunge. But now, the Aston Martin will have DRS as a comeback. Oh, and Calzone went wide and had to give the position back. And with that, the race immediately goes to Ultimate by default because Calzone is too many seconds out to capitalize on Ultimate's penalties. Calzone will finish in second, assuming he doesn't have an accident. Look at this battle here. This Torpedo is gotten by CVTX Masks. CVT has no time penalties while everyone ahead of him does. So he can still pull a few extra spots at the end of this race. He's got him on the inside at the end of the straight. This time he did not go wide, but again, Mr. Anderson and the Aston Martin will have DRS to fight back with. The Ferrari's going to force the Aston Martin to run wide. No problem. The Aston easily cruises back into second position. Torpedo ahead of Mask, and it looks like it's going to stay that way. Mask not going to have anywhere left on the track to overtake the cars ahead. At the front, XRRL Ultimate comes out of the final corner to take the checkered flag in the XRRL exhibition race here, and he'll be followed closely by Mr. Anderson and Calzone. Ryan Hurricane will come across, then Zola, then Torpedo, then CVTX Max, then Young Maneuver. Everything got shuffled up this dude's time penalties in the end. One thing for certain, XRRL Ultimate really put on a ultimate show today and easily cruised to the victory here at Austria. There's your podium. Very messy podium, the late race yellow, meaning that all the time penalties end up bunching up the field and making drivers finish higher or lower than where a lot of them was properly running. But Calzone and Ultimate definitely earned their podium spots. Ultimate especially earning his victory here at Austria. He doesn't seem to be interested to come into the party. I'm going to send him one more invite just in case.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Xbox didn't give me a notification that you joined.
Yeah, it's alright.
Okay, no. Yeah, Ultimate, go ahead, make sure your audio is included.
Yep.
A fantastic victory from the pole to the win. Go ahead and walk us through the day from your perspective.
Well, I won't lie to you, that safety car absolutely ruined my race because it was the one stop was on. It was the strategy was just predicting the two stop, and I was going to go for the two stop. But in the end, ended up I was going to go for the one stop, even though the strategy didn't say it was going to work, and it would have worked. But that safety car stuffed me over a bit, and with the time penalties, because it's so hard around Austria with time penalties, so easy to get them. In the end, I was just when I was on my normal strategy before the safety car, I was just trying so hard not to get warnings or anything. I was taking it super careful, avoiding all the curves, everything. But yeah, as soon as that safety car came out, I was like, oh, this is it. I'm going to lose it now. But I pushed for the last 4 or 5 laps, and I built the gap I needed, which was 5 seconds over Calzone, which I did. So yeah, they're happy with that.
It was an impressive run today. So now the question is, do you think you'll be able to replicate this kind of results in once we get into the real points-paying XRRL races?
Oh, I don't know, because probably put me in the Williams, and we've done some of the testing for the cars today to see what the difference is in the times. I'm not going to reveal anything at the moment, but yeah, it's not looking good for people who are like me, who are going to be in the slower cars, put it that way.
Alright, and now the other question is, when it comes to X1, X2, X3, you've been an X1 driver for some time. Can we anticipate that to continue this season?
Oh yeah, I'm in X1 this season, yeah, 100%. All the teams have been announced and stuff like that. It's just whether I can secure the Constructors' Championship again with Path, and whether I can actually win the championship this season. We'll see how it goes. Because there's a lot of talent in X1 this season. We'll see how this goes.
We will be looking forward to watching that. Sadly, I won't be able to watch this live because I'll be doing the X3 broadcast at the same time. But good luck in your endeavors, because XRL is back, everybody, starting next week. XRL Dev will be at the normal 5 p.m. UK time on Saturday, followed by XRRL at 8 p.m. UK time. Then on Sunday at 5 p.m. on the main channel will be X1, where Ultimate will be fighting for another championship, another Constructors Championship. While in X3, I will be covering at the same time on the Ultra channel, and then 8 p.m. next Sunday on the main channel will be X2. But that will be it from me, and that will be it for those of us here at Austria. It's been an interesting preseason race, relatively short broadcast that we skipped qualifying. Next week, though, we're going to be back to the normal 3-hour broadcasting runs that we are used to within XRL. However, I will see you next week. Until then, farewell.
Someone to watch in X3 Insane for this season, mate. Watch Anderson, because he's incredibly quick for an X3 driver. We're watching him, mate.
Or you think he's gonna walk off and dominate the time?
Yeah. Personally, yeah, I think unless there's anyone from Dev that comes in, looking at that roster and the TT times he's doing, and the fact that he was able to keep up with me for so long today, I think he'll be winning the first 3 or 4 races if he doesn't make mistakes in X3 this season, 100%.
Do you think Calzone will be let into X3?
I think I can't remember what he